All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back, Rob, otherwise known as Trish, but she signed in on Rob's account, so
Yes, I did.
so
I didn't even notice.
so good to see you this morning. Welcome home. I know you've been on an escapade, taking your daughter up to school. Oregon? It's Oregon, right?
Yeah, Oregon. Yeah, she's here with us, but we took all her stuff up to stay with another teammate until it's time to go next month. So
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. All right. So good morning, guys. I want you to get your questions prepared because we're going to do some Q&A today. So I know I say that and then I just ramble on too long about whatever I talk about. But we're definitely going to do some Q&A. So bring your questions. We've been talking about how questions are the answers, really diving into stuff and being very obsessed. We've been talking about learning. I've got my notebooks here. I haven't even put my notebooks away. I think I've missed them. So I've kind of been diving back in for not just old content, but just kind of reminiscing about the education process and kind of the course of learning that I've gone through over the course of the last 18 years and continuing to go on. So, but yesterday I talked about how we're really going to turn the scales up on the recruiting process. And this is a mindset, really not as much a strategy of a mindset. And I want to talk a little bit about it today before I open this up for Q&A. And part of the reason why I think it's really important for us to look at kind of the recruiter's mindset is I want to give some philosophies that I believe have helped me become a pretty good recruiter. I don't know. I think I'm the number 2 recruiter in all of Seacret as of this point. I don't know. We'll have to pull some numbers, but I'm pretty sure. I know there are people out there that are going to go beat me. Or at least there are people that think they're going to beat me, but then they don't know that I have Trish and Ruth to teach me attraction marketing. So it's game over for everybody. So kind of the combination of using kind of the skills I've learned the last 18 years and the skills that I'm learning from them, no one stands a chance, honestly. I mean, it's an unfair advantage, really, when you have Team Truth on your side. But part of the reason why I'm sharing this is not because of any other reason is what a lot of people believe, and not my opinion, is what it takes to get somebody to make a decision to join. For the vast majority of time, I have found that it's not what I originally thought I needed to share. And it was not what originally I thought people needed to either hear, okay? So I want you to write this down. People don't buy products or services. People don't buy products or services. They buy feelings and they buy identities. They don't buy products or services. They buy feelings and they buy identities. You might have heard me say this before. People, and it's very true. So people don't buy products or services. They buy feelings or they buy identities. Now, when somebody said, why identity, what do you mean by that? I'll give you the short version of it is, if you own an expensive bag, let's say you own a Louis Vuitton, how much does a nice Louis Vuitton cost? $1,500, $2,000, something like that, right? So let's say $2,000. Okay, so let's say I'm holding up a Louis Vuitton bag here. Now, let's say you go down to your local Target, and you find a $20 purse. Okay, so now what's the functionality of the purse is to hold things inside, right? So the Louis Vuitton bag and the $20 purse from Target, do they have the same functionality? Meaning, do they both have a strap? Yes. Do they hold the same amount of things? So if the functionality is purely for what the product is designed to do, which is hold things, they're both equally functional, right? So it's not about the functionality. So why would somebody spend 100 times more or 100 times markup on something? And it's because of how it makes them feel or an identity, meaning you get attached to a certain group. So vegans were like kind of a good example of that, where vegan was buying vegan products was not just about buying vegan products, it was about an identity of I am vegan, right? And so now the world has kind of changed it where now it's not just an identity. People are much more understanding the health side of it, but same thing. Cars, if you look, so women, I do purses, guys, a lot of times you'll do cars. So just to be totally sexist today, might as well. But when it comes to cars, is how much is you could buy a $20,000 car and you could buy a $200,000 car. And now, granted, the performance on a $200,000 car, you can say functionality is not the same. However, if the design of the car is to get you from point A to point B, If that's the purpose of the car, they both will do the same job. But one is a very different identity. Think about whether it be a sports car or a truck or things like that. They have different identities that are attached towards specific purchases we make. So when we're buying on feelings or identities, when it looks into it, I want you to write this in your notes, is when you're describing the business to people is paint them into the picture. Write this in there. Paint them into the picture. What my goal a lot of the times is when I'm explaining, especially the compensation plan, products, generally speaking, I don't have to spend as much time because it's a simpler concept to explain a product. When I'm trying to show somebody the business, what I'm trying to do is paint them into the picture of a future that's as exciting, that's better than the present. Okay. So now there are two things that usually cause people to move. One is pain, the other is pleasure. So, okay, positive and negative. These are both things. And a lot of times if you're really, I'm not going to be really as direct with the negative. I'm going to be a little more indirect with the negative. And I'm going to be direct with the positive. Indirect with negative, direct with positive. So when I'm painting someone into the picture, when I'm explaining the compensation plan and I'm talking about how we get paid in Seacret and how, so I'm going to use a lot of things like as we're building it, I'm going to use the word we a lot. How we get paid, not how you get paid, how we get paid. It's an us thing. So immediately I want to be really emphasizing the idea of team, okay? Meaning that you're not in this alone. You're not doing this by yourself. We're going to be doing this together, okay? So there's a lot of team and painting them into the picture. So a good example of painting them into the picture here is, let's talk about the first way we get paid. So when the first way we get paid is from customers. Do we get paid when we get customers? Yes or yes? Yes, okay. So now we get paid how much in the very beginning? 20%, right? So, but 20 to 30%. Now, here's where I think a lot of people get confused is the super details. Now, you're going to have your greens that are going to want more details, but these are people that are always going to want more details. And I'm not so concerned about whether or not they want more details or not, because they usually will identify themselves pretty quickly. But I want you to get, it's not the facts, it's the concept, okay? So it's not the details, it's giving them the concept behind the income. So it's not the amount, it's the type. So write this in the notes. It's not the amount of money, it's the type of money. It's not the amount of money, it's the type of money, okay? It's not how much you earn, it's how you earn it. And what I'm trying to do is get somebody to think a little bit differently. So I'll give you a couple of examples of how I'm going to articulate or explain commissions. Because I could go super detailed. I could say, so basically here's how this works. You get paid 20% from your VIP commissions, right? And then when you break the threshold of $799 in QV, which in case you didn't know what QV was, QV is qualifying volume, and every dollar is translated to a qualifying volume point. And if it's a customer, it's going to be basically equivalent. And if it's an agent, and you've already lost. Do you guys see how confusing I already got to a new person? Because those are the details behind it. It's not the concept behind it. Okay. So when it comes to sharing the enrollment side, please write this in your notes. Write down the key component for customer commissions that you want to be emphasizing is renewal income or residual income. Renewal income, residual income. Okay. So renewal or residual income. I like renewal income now more. And the reason why is it's not used as much, but also the reason why is because I think residual income kind of got a little played in a way. At least in my circle of people. So you can use both interchangeably. They both do the same thing because again, it's the concept. So here's a good example of that. We get paid 20 to 30%. Okay. So if I became your customer, whenever I do examples, I want you guys to notice this. Okay. I put them in the already enrolled position and I put them as me signing me up. Okay. Now, here's a good example because it's a truth. Are you all signed up in Seacret? Yes? Okay. Did somebody sign you up in Seacret? Yes. So is it realistic for them to believe that they could have signed you up in Seacret? Yes. Do you see how there's an immediate truth there that's going to be a very easy tangible because they know that you're in, which means that somebody enrolled you. Okay. So through this, again, a big part of getting somebody at the end of getting them to really understand a secret is them believing that some of the people they know will buy or join. If it doesn't need to be a lot, if somebody believes a few of the people they know will buy or join, they're going to probably join. And then they're going to see how well it goes. So from the compensation plan, or from the enrolling a customer. So if you were to enroll me, okay, and I talk about maybe the products I love this, I love that, I love all of it, but the skincare, let's say I get on our nutrition program, right? Our Health Made Simple. If I spend $100, that means that you would make $20. That's an example. Is that a tangible? 20% for some people doesn't make a lot of sense. Even 30% doesn't make a lot of sense. 20, 30%. Give them a tangible of an actual example. And I use me as the person enrolling. So $100, you would make $20. Now, $20, maybe go to lunch. That's not, it's not big money. But when I run out, now I give the example, when I run out of products, if I like them, what am I going to do? If I run out of products and I like them, what am I going to do? These are questions, what I call leading questions. So write this in your notes, leading questions. These are questions that I already know the answer to, and I already know they know the answer to, but I want them to answer them. Okay? Because I want them to think about the fact that they can be in this position in the future, painting them into the picture, painting them into the future of what it would feel like to be in the position of earning a renewal or residual income. I want them to feel it. Okay. So when I run out of my shampoo, well, not shampoo and conditioner, but when I run out of my soap, all right, when I run out of my aftershave, what am I going to do? Okay. And inevitably, what are they going to say? You're going to buy more, right? So you're going to buy again. So here's what's great. When I buy again, you're going to get paid again. In fact, you're going to get paid every time I buy. You're going to get paid every time I buy. Now, I've been buying these products for 9 years. I can give my example. And then for those of you guys that have been in Seacret, be like, well, I'm going to be now, if you believe that you love Seacret enough that you're going to be buying these products for the rest of your life, say that. So I'm going to be buying these products for the rest of my life. So had you introduced me to Seacret, you would be getting paid forever from introducing me. Okay. You would have been getting paid forever from introducing me. Is that kind of painting? Do you see how it's kind of a visual of painting someone into the future? Okay. Now this isn't a detail. This isn't a 20. Well, then you get to 23, then you get to 25, then you get to 27, then you get to 20, then you get to 30%. And as long as you have it in a monthly, and then you get, you're like, nah, no, stop it. Paint them into the picture, get into the feeling of it. So the renewal income. So here's a great thing that I don't even know how many times I've said this. Imagine, I'm painting them into the future. Imagine getting paid in 2025 for the things you're doing in 2020. Wouldn't that be cool? Imagine getting paid in 2025 for the things you're doing in 2020. Wouldn't that be cool? And then everyone do this, smile. And everyone go do one of these, do a little nod. You know what's interesting? If you just kind of smile and nod, people go, yeah. Because it's about the feeling. I want them to think about it. I want them to feel it. I want them to imagine, man, wouldn't that be cool? I say, now here would have been cool. Now here's a little bit of pain. Here's a little bit of pleasure, right? That's pleasure. I'm talking about the future. And I said, so the only thing that would have been better, that's better than getting started now, the only thing that would be better than getting started now is if you could have started 5 years ago with me, because then you would be experiencing that now. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? All right. So yeah, that would be cool. Now, what I'm trying to do is you want to give realistic points that don't overhype and don't over exaggerate. The minute somebody hits their kind of unbelievable meter, that's when people check out. So, and usually you'll, you can kind of find that threshold is this. Generally speaking, when I'm talking to people about earning income inside of our business, I'm not talking to them about earning more income than they currently make unless I know they're very red. If they're very red, I will talk to them about earning more. But just so you guys know, I will never talk to somebody about earning more than twice as much as I believe they currently make. Because for most people, that is almost unfathomable or unrealistic. If somebody's making $4,000 a month, I might go to 8, maybe. Okay. But I'm not going to 50. You could blow people out of the water. We're looking for something where people to buy in to go, this is realistic for me. Because remember, we're trying to get them to make a decision that it's possible for them. Okay. Now, for most people, it's earning a little bit. But honestly, in today, if I was in your shoes, I would be talking much more about time than I would be talking about money. Okay. So how do you get your time back? How do you get your freedom back? Because that's what this really is about. So painting them into the picture, hopefully a couple of these things are helping. Is this making sense? Thumbs up? Yes? Giving some concepts? So some of the things we're talking about. So this point number 1, when you're talking about products, the concept that you really want to be focusing on is renewal or residual income. Imagine how it would feel, okay? So now when it comes to our products, when I'm going through our products and I'm sharing with them the products, okay? What I'm also saying is I'm helping them build their list, okay? All right? I'm helping them build their list. So here's what I'm doing. When I'm going through the company, I'm saying, listen, some of you like sales, some of you don't like sales, okay? But I'm sure you know people that currently already sell and or market products to the people they know. Good example. Do you know anyone that's a hairstylist, makeup artist? Do you know anyone that's a massage therapist? Do you know anyone that's a cosmetologist? Do you know anyone that is maybe already in the skincare field? Do you know anybody that's a personal trainer? Do you know anybody that is a nutritionist? Do you know anybody that's a chiropractor and or a doctor? So if I'm hitting on fields and they think about it and they go, oh yeah, that's right. My cousin, she does hair. In fact, she has a salon. She might, what if? And I'm painting them into the picture. Do you guys seeing this? So I'm painting them into the future of them thinking about, again, our products are amazing. When I talk about the Dead Sea has been amazing. So for thousands of years, people have been traveling for a lot of challenging skin conditions. One of the reasons why a lot of people go there, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea. There's so many people that get incredible relief from going to the Dead Sea. And what's amazing is we have these minerals in our products. Now, I'm not saying, do you have any of these problems? Okay. But now people are thinking about anybody that might have one of these challenges that the minerals from the Dead Sea we've known to be helpful for. So it's painting them into that picture. So that's number 1. Number 2. Okay. Number 2, when you're talking about team building, when you're talking about compensation, I'm telling you, this is where you can go down the rabbit hole. And it's probably one of the most confusing rabbit holes you can go down, right? Which is attempting to go into, for a brand new person, explaining how a binary team commission, 1/3, 2/3 cycling payout structure works. This is by far, it is one of the sexiest compensation structures in the world. I love the behavior now behind it. However, trying to articulate this in detail to a new person, how many guys are just kind of like, I just kind of avoid the topic altogether, which isn't good. We're not here we don't want to avoid it because then it feels like we're almost hiding something, or it feels like we don't know what we're talking about. And that's where we want to stay away from. So the details, I'm telling you, it's not about the details. Most people didn't join based on the details of the compensation. A good example. How many of you guys out there still feel like you don't totally fully understand exactly how the compensation plan works by show of hands? Like every bit of it, right? Good. Almost all of you, you're being truthful. I love you. Now, here's the thing. You all joined. What does that mean? It wasn't necessary. Meaning you didn't have to understand every in and out that sometimes we believe people need to make a decision. Just because there's something that you quite don't understand, you're all in. I know people that have been in Seacret for 5 years, and if I ask them to explain it to me, they'd be like, nope, not even going to try. I know diamonds in this company that still couldn't really probably articulate our binary compensation very well if you asked them to. If they did, you'd be like, Really? So the reason I'm sharing that with you is don't get hung up on the details, the concept. What do we want to do to paint them into the picture? So on the customer side, it's renewal income. Team building side, anyone have any guesses on what we're really trying to kind of sell or the feeling? Anybody know? So I love Zoom because we're all muted, so there's nothing we can do, right? So the concept that we're really trying to do is write this down as leveraged income or passive income, okay? Leveraged income or passive income. Very few people in this world have residual income, but residual income and passive income are different, okay? So passive income or leveraged income is where you're gonna start leveraging your time, okay? And leveraging your time. Now, this is a concept that a lot of people just weren't taught. Now, how can you put somebody, if I'm going to talk about something potentially that I perceive as being negative, okay, right? And I'll give you kind of an example of how I would do this. How do I paint them into the picture? How do I share this with somebody to get them to kind of not just be open to the idea, but excited about the idea and want to be in a position to have it? That's what I want. I want them to think about, oh my God, I need to be in that spot and I need to get into that place that this guy is talking about, this gal is talking about. So if I'm, I'll pick on somebody if I was using Trish here. Okay, so Trish, I have you on mute. So if I was talking to Trish about the passive income, and I know, let's say I know Trish is a CPA. She doesn't have a secret business. She doesn't have an attraction marketing business, okay? She's a CPA. So I know she gets paid from being a CPA, and that's all she gets paid from. Now, if I'm really direct with Trish, I could come across sometimes a little bit of abrasive. I could be like, well, Trish, listen, I know that you make money as a CPA. So, but if you don't work as a CPA, you don't make any money. Now, I could be really like, so you don't make any money when you don't work. She might get a little defensive. She could, right? So I don't know. But what I can do is I can put myself in the shoes of that person and to convey the same information. So a good example is this. Trish, I don't know about you, but prior to Seacret, I don't know about you, but prior to Seacret, I only got paid one way. I don't know about you, but prior to Seacret, I only got paid one way. When I worked, I got paid. When I didn't work, I didn't get paid. Now, I'm talking about me. Do you guys notice how a lot of you, even when I said that, you know what most of you guys did? Subconsciously, a lot of you went like this. Me too. People want to buy, me too, right? So instead of saying you, I'm saying me. I got paid one way. When I worked, I got paid. When I didn't work, I didn't get paid. So I taught. When I didn't teach, I didn't get paid. I don't know if it's the same for you. Yeah, it is. Okay, so there's agreement there if I can get some agreement on that. So what I'm talking about is one person, one paycheck usually. One person, one job, one check. One person, one job, one check. One person, no job, no check. So this is where I'm articulating the concept of a residual or renewal income, where a passive income or a leveraged income, where I'm talking about how when I looked at this business model, the person that was making an incredible amount of income, and it wasn't so much the money they were making, it was that they were making that income without having to work. That was fascinating to me. They were making this type of income without having to work. Now, notice today, I put myself in third person. I don't say me. I don't sit there and say, hey, listen, I don't have to work anymore. Like that, I still don't even do it. I put myself out of the third party, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to say is, listen, from introducing people from building out a leveraged income here, what's amazing is the fact that as you build this, you have more people contributing to your income. Okay. So think about it this way. Okay? In 5 years from now, if you're still doing what you're doing, how many people are contributing to your income? Just one, right? In 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, yeah, it's usually just one. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you could have 10, 20, 100 people contributing to your income, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice, right? So we're talking about building out a passive, a renewal, a residual income. These are things of kind of painting them into the picture, okay? Wouldn't it be nice to have income coming in that you didn't have to clock in for? Wouldn't it be nice to have income coming in that you didn't have to clock in for? So these are a few things when it comes to painting them into the picture. These are things that I look at from the compensation plan. Now, outside of that, we'll talk about, we're gonna go into some more concepts, some more details here, but is this making sense? So when I go through the compensation plan, I'm not going through the details, the nitty gritty and the 4 levels of, double big backflip, diamond, all that other stuff. I'm just not in the first process. And the reason why is I know because the vast majority of people, that's not the reason they're making a decision. Now, if somebody is asking a lot of very detailed questions about the compensation plan, I can bet you 99 out of 100 times the reason why is because they've been in network marketing before and they're afraid of comp plans or being in a worse comp plan or a better comp plan or a different comp plan that a challenge with comp plans. So if you are speaking with a network marketer that's asking a lot of detailed questions about the comp plans because they're evaluating it compared to what they've done before, that's where you want to get us involved. So get one of us involved because that's just like, it's like if you were introducing an esthetician and you're not an esthetician, you need to get them on the phone with somebody who's got some details on the skincare products. Same thing. So they just have some experience. Cool. So we're going to go into some more stuff tomorrow in terms of painting them into the picture. But hopefully that can help kind of ease to where you can explain our business model without having to go through all of that. And that's stuff that's easy to do. So imagine what it would feel like. What would it like to get paid in 2025 for things you're doing in 2020? I don't know about you, how many people are contributing to your income, but prior to Seacret, it was just me, myself, and I. So if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to be in that position in 5 years from now. I didn't want to be the only one contributing to my income in 2025. I didn't want it to be solely dependent on me because a lot of times it can be exhausting. Plus, gosh, job security, is that even a thing anymore? So what I'm doing is I'm connecting with the person with where they're at, and I'm trying to paint into where it can be with simple theoretical examples. Okay. So let's open this up. Let's do a few questions here today. Questions about recruiting or any topic for that matter. It doesn't need to be on recruiting. It can be anything in your business. Hey, I'm lost. I'm stuck. What would you do here? How would you do this? Or back to kind of what I originally kind of got this whole thing started with, which was kind of my obsession with studying the people that got to 6 figures in their business and diving into the details behind that. Who wants to start?
I kind of have.
Go, Kelsey.
I kind of have like a flow question. So if someone reaches out to me and I want to get them on a call, and that first call is just kind of understanding where they're at and what they're looking for and not really talking about Seacret. Yeah. And then after that, and I kind of qualify them, then I would put them on a 3-way with Trish or Ruth.
Yeah. Okay.
That was my flow question.
Yeah. So, it's a great flow. And the good news is this, as long as, here's the thing I always look at, as long as they're leading to the next exposure or to third party, it's kind of hard to really mess up the flow completely. But in the strategy that you guys are using right now, I honestly, the quicker you can introduce another human being into the mix, just you're going to find so many positive benefits from that. And especially when you're introducing people that are as professional, because remember, if people aren't buying products or services, they're buying a feeling and they're buying an identity. So a big thing of identity, what's an identity that we have here with this team is camaraderie, of be safe, like just have comfort, community. These are concepts and identities, and they're not something that usually can be said. There's something that it's felt. Like it's not something that's taught, it's something that's caught, is kind of how we say. And so when somebody introduces somebody else and they say, wow, okay, this feels good, this team of people, they're professional, they're nice, they're knowledgeable, and they really want to help me. Like it's pretty impossible to get in communication with Trish, with Ruth, with the people from this organization and not genuinely feel like, wow, these people like really actually want to help. So like they're really committed to helping me improve the quality of my life. Like that's what they're up to. So, yeah, Queen, you introduce somebody, great. And whether that is bringing them in through the social networking professionals group and through them getting excited about attraction marketing, or whether that maybe opened up a door from one of your posts on our products, or whether that opened up the door on, hey, building an online income. So whether it's a post you're introducing them to and ATMing them, so ad tag and messaging them to something specifically to where they're kind of learning a little bit and then introducing to someone else, perfect flow. Can't mess that up.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. We just need to do a lot more of it because we got to sort through these deckies and find your aces. Okay. So who else? Questions? Other questions? Don't be shy. I don't bite, usually. No.
Jesse, my question is, so before I was introduced to SMP, I kind of like blah all over everybody.
Yep.
So how would you go back to kind of, can you go back to people that you've reached out to before?
No, game over. Can't talk to anybody ever again.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That's funny. So, yeah, you can. So now, and here's the thing. Usually, here's what I have found is a lot of us really make up stories in our head with kind of a lot of people use absolutes. And this is one of the things I'm going to do in my Facebook Live challenge. I'm getting started here this week, is absolutes. So by absolutes is like everybody's and nobody's. You'll hear people use this as exaggerators. And these are cringy things for me. Anytime I hear somebody use an absolute, I just like, ugh. And the reason why is because it's not true. It's an over-exaggeration because we're trying to either feel more hurt or feel more pleasure. It's usually one of the two. And it's really a loss of power in your communication when you do it. Because, so a good example is, you know, I already threw up on everybody. It's really not everybody. But we do feel that way because a good example is when you make a post on Facebook, what percentage of the people actually see your post on Facebook? We've learned this now. It's a pretty small percentage. I mean, even me. I mean, I'm maxed out at 5,000. And even if I'm, like I do like weird stuff, I mean, I'd be lucky to get 500 individual people to do it. So what does that mean? That means if you've got 500 friends on Facebook and you make a post and you've botched it, like you were doing terrible posts, chances are probably only 10% of the people on your Facebook even saw those posts. So it's not everybody, but we feel like it. We think it is, you know, right? And what generally happens is if we get 2 or 3 negative people, we feel like that's the consensus. So I want you to think about like politics right now is a good example of this. You have the loud minority and the silent majority. I'm going to tell you right now that from your initial list or the people that you feel like you've kind of screwed up or messed up, you might have the loud minority of people that didn't like it or you kind of felt like you messed it up. And then there's the silent majority of people that don't really have a really strong opinion, yes or no, or good or bad on it because they just don't have any information. Maybe they saw a post and they just skimmed by it. It didn't send them off the rails. You know, like seems like people today have to be outraged about stuff all the time. But the reason why I'm kind of sharing this with you when it comes to this is some of the stuff you probably didn't even really do wrong. It just might not have been that effective. It just not have been wrong because it doesn't matter if you do attraction marketing, network marketing, relationship marketing, like an absolute pro, you're still going to have negative people that are not going to like or get it. Make sense? Okay. So here's my suggestion. When here's what I did with some of the people in the very beginning because I felt this similar is I went back and I just straight apologized. I asked them to give me a second chance. So I was calling up. I was like, "Hey Ruth, listen, I just want to call to apologize." And I'm like, what do you mean? So, well, listen, last year I got started in Seacret and I no idea what I was doing. And I just literally, I threw up all over you. And I'm sure it came across awkward and weird and, and I was just so excited about it. And I don't know if you felt pressured or anyway, first of all, is this, my relationship with you is much more important than anything I'm doing in my business world. I genuinely feel like if I knew then what I knew now, that would have been a very different experience. If I knew then what I know now, it would have been a very different experience. So, and when you say that and kind of open up that space, that then it takes the conversation in some great ways. And I don't know which way it's going to go. They could be like, yeah, you were, most of the time they go, yeah, it was kind of a whatever. Or what you'll realize most of the time, they're not as emotionally attached to it as you were. That's what you're going to find out the majority of the time. They're going to be like, no, it was no big deal. Like because a lot of times what happens, we introduce them, they're like, yeah, I need to think about it, or I don't know, whatever. And then you call them and they didn't answer, and you call them and they didn't answer, and they're like, they hate me and they hate this. And we make up these stories about all this stuff. The majority of the time, it's honestly not that big for them. And say, listen, I was, if I was, I want to own that and clean that up. And go, look, anyway, but, so would you kind of give me a second chance? I really want you to know what I'm doing, but I also want you to know that I'm totally not attached to it being for you. But anyway, I don't know if it's something that could help you or maybe help out the people. So maybe somebody that you could point me in the right direction. So I use a lot of indirect with my warm market. And the reason why is because I want my warm market to stay my warm market. And I want my warm market to stay my friends. And I found out if you try to pressure your friends into doing things that they don't want to do for a long period of time, they don't want to be around you very long. So what I generally would do is kind of go indirect, say, listen, it would mean a lot to me. I just want you to kind of really take a look at what's happening now because the world has changed. And it's something that may be for you. If not, maybe you could point me in the right direction. And it just mean a lot to me. I want you to I just want you to know, I just want you to understand what it is, because when I first approached you, that was horrific. I apologize. Please forgive me, and most of the time people will give you kind of the benefit of the doubt on that. So that's an easy way that you can approach some people, and let me know how it goes. Trish, anything you want to add to that? Nope.
Sorry, just trying to unmute myself here. No, I think that sounds great. And I love how you simplified everything, Jesse, because I do think we just all get in our heads sometime and try to just give way too much information. So just keeping it simple, honestly, is really what it takes.
Yep. So yeah. So Ruth, and that this is a really big point, actually, is kind of the loud minority versus the silent majority. You really need to just remember that when you're out there sharing this information with people. So last question, go. Who's got a good one? Make it a good one.
Hey, Jesse, it's JT.
JT, what's up, bud?
Nothing much. So say I get someone who's interested on social media, whether that's like an affiliate opportunity or even an individual agent opportunity.
Yep.
Like, how can you intrigue them enough during the time when they kind of respond with the tell me more? How can you kind of intrigue them to the point where they respond back? Because sometimes when you do tell them more or try and get them intrigued, they don't respond.
Great question. Well, first off, you're not going to bat 1,000, just so you know. And for those of you guys that know the analogy of baseball, is most people that are playing baseball, if you bat 300, they pay you millions of dollars. So that means that you get on base, first base, 3 out of 10 times, which means 7 out of 10 you strike out. Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200, like out, right? So, and you don't even score, you just don't even get the base. So first off, that's what I would say is you're not going, because when you're in that type of an environment, is you're saying, hey, are you interested? And then you give them some information, and then they're not interested. And that's going to happen more often than not, period. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Now, the question is, I don't know what you're saying afterwards, so I might need to dive into that a little bit differently. So in terms of once they say, yeah, I'm interested in checking out some information, is what I would do. Step 1 and step 2 is I would introduce them to someone in your support team in the beginning, since you're just getting going. Say, well, listen, I want to introduce you to one of our partners. And when I'm like in full on recruit mode, so if I'm going in that kind of a topic, is I'm going, look, our company is expanding and they're looking for people that want to be able to build a business online working from home. Is that something that would be of interest to you?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm usually, if they're asking of interest, I'm going to give them the kind of the concept of it. Is that something to be of interest to you? Great. I'd like to set up a time where we can chat and we can get you some more information to see if it would be of interest to you and if you have what we're looking for. So in the recruiting process, if I'm on a cold market, I'm not because I'm not begging people to do Seacret. This is not what I'm doing, right? So I like a little bit of the give and take to see if it's something that would be of interest to you and see if you have what we're looking for.
Perfect.
So when I say that, most people go, "Oh, this is for real. This isn't just some." Because I want to see, do you have what we're looking for? A good example is, are you coachable? Are you? So, and introducing them. So the two things you're going to introduce them to, you're going to introduce them to someone else, or you're going to introduce them to some kind of a tool and or a video. And
Okay.
in that case, we'll find out. And but I would 100%, I'd plug them into the group and just really follow the ATM strategy. Add tag message, add tag message, add tag message. I would just be plug them into the group ATM, because there are people that today they might get into the group and might be uninterested today. But then if they're in the group and they don't, because a lot of people, once they get in a group, they don't unsubscribe to groups a lot. So once they get in and they're constantly seeing the post and they click on something, they see something, you never know what might spark their interest down the road. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
I know I said last question, but you guys want to do another question since I'm here? I mean, anybody else have a question? I felt like Angela, you had a question. I don't know why. You don't have a question? You sure you? No.
What you just said about, I was writing it down. So